Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We continue our discussion on work as worship. We quoted one verse from the Bhagavad Gita. Yatah pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tadam swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. That Lord Krishna teaches how to gain siddhi, success in life, perfection in life or success in life. Of course, Lord Krishna has his own idea of what success is. Our notion of success may be formed by what we see around ourselves, and therefore we usually look upon acquisition of the wealth and fame and power as the mark of success, which is what the world considers. But if you look at the other dimension of success, what happens to you, or how do you feel when you are successful? So what brings success in life? Maybe wealth or fame or power, the conventional thing. Meaning that the means of success may be different, but what a person feels when he or she feels successful is the same. And what is it? That is when I feel happy with myself, when I see myself as worthy in my own perception. Otherwise, it is not that a given accomplishment necessarily has to make me feel successful. I may not. There was a time when acquiring something like first rank in the class was great success. Subsequently, did not create that kind of effect upon me. Meaning that success, which is usually measured by external criteria about what is achieved, has also a counterpart, a subjective counterpart in terms of how I feel when I find myself successful. And that is, I have a sense of self-worth. I have a sense of self-worth, therefore a self-respect, self-acceptance, and therefore feeling happy with myself. So what success does, the inner feeling that it creates is the feeling of self-worth and therefore being happy with myself. That is the experience in every achievement of success. So what causes success may be different for different people and for me also at different times. Sometimes it may be professional accomplishment, sometimes it may be a social service or whatever I consider worthwhile. So what creates in me a sense of success keeps varying. But what happens to me when I feel successful is one thing, and that is I feel a sense of self-worth, self-acceptance, self-satisfaction. So understand that that is success. So when Lord Krishna says that, Siddhim Vindati Manava, a human being attains success, usually we are accustomed to measuring success in these terms of, some material, some worldly terms. But we must know that that is not really what is success. Even for our own self, success is really nothing but a sense of self-satisfaction, which comes from self-worth. A self-worth comes when I find myself worthy in my own perception. As you said in the morning, earlier class, the most important is the perception I have of myself. A given perception of myself makes me happy. Another perception of myself makes me unhappy. So what makes me happy and unhappy is not so much what happens out there, is the perception that it creates in me, what happens out there. I respond to that with a given perception of myself. So what makes me happy is not what happens out there. What makes me happy is the perception that I have of myself. So either we can hold this ear this way or straight away, meaning that either I chase these external accomplishments to feel a sense of self-worth when my desire is fulfilled or my goal is accomplished, except that that lasts only a short time, because then again my mind is occupied with another desire. Meaning that the satisfaction that I find as the result of some external accomplishment is a short-lived satisfaction. And that's the reason why nothing gives me a sustained sense of success or satisfaction. I may get some sense of satisfaction for a while, and then I find myself chasing something else. What we are seeking is sustained sense of success, sustained sense of self-satisfaction, and that is to be accomplished by an inner transformation, not by external transformation. So right now my approach is an external change to make me feel good about myself. Meaning that right now I depend upon something out there to make me feel good about myself. Why not I do something with myself that I have a sustained sense of satisfaction? And that is what is called siddhi or success. A sustained sense of satisfaction that comes by an inner transformation. What Vedanta calls antakarana shuddhi or purification of mind. Are you able to hear me? Okay. You want to see me now? You have to change your chair and come here in front. All right, so I can see you also. And for that, Lord Krishna provides this means called svakarmana tamabhyarcha, worshipping Ishvara with my action, meaning that making my action day-to-day activity. That, as we said in the earlier class, that we need not divide our life into a worldly life and a spiritual life. It is the attitude that makes it worldly or spiritual. The external situation of form remaining the same, it can be worldly if my attitude is worldly, meaning that outwardly I may be performing a puja and still it may be a worldly activity if it is a professional thing. We're singing bhajans and then all of these things can be professional. Unfortunately, you find some people sing when they play all kinds of conditions that I must have this kind of seat, I must have this kind of... So, of course, because there is a status. But there is nothing spiritual about those things, Not that it should be, it is not professional. What I'm saying is that it is not an action that makes it spiritual or worldly. Swami, I'm a worldly person. No. You don't have to brand yourself as I'm a samsari, Swami. Nobody is a samsari. Nobody is worldly. It's just the perception that we have, the attitudes that we have. And therefore, just because Swamiji once, somebody came to our Puja Swamiji, how are you? I brought my samsara with me. What is a samsara? His wife and children. He calls that is samsara. So, some external situation doesn't make it samsara. Our sages, rishis have so many disciples, such a huge family, that doesn't make them samsari. And I am enough to make myself a samsari without anything else. Therefore, swakarmana, worshipping Ishvara with my own karma, with whatever comes to my share in the life. In the life, everybody is placed in a given situation. Everybody is unique, and everybody is placed in a unique situation. Perhaps no two individuals may have identical situations. Everybody is unique, everybody has unique situation, which is fine. And all that is necessary is not that I have to make myself like somebody else. The unfortunate thing about human being is that he wants to become somebody else. Because we have a habit of comparing ourselves with others. We compare ourselves with others and judge ourselves. And then have a complex that I am such and such based on comparison with others. This is what we are, rightly or wrongly. Maybe it has a benefit also that it pushes us to do something, become when we compare ourselves with others. And beyond that, so when wisely done, it helps us. Beyond a certain point, it hurts us. So we don't have to try to become somebody else. But Swamiji, my friends are progressing, they are doing this, that and so forth, and look what I am doing. But what you are doing, is it in keeping with your qualification? Yes, Swamiji. What you are doing, does it give you some satisfaction? Yes, Swamiji. But still my income is not like the income that my friends have. So Lord Krishna says, measure what you do by the satisfaction that it gives you rather than the reward, external rewards. So reward is of two kinds. An external material reward, and there is also an inner or a spiritual reward. This is how the Bhagavad Gita began. Everybody looks at one's action as a means of some worldly or external reward. Arjuna also looked upon his action here as a means of some worldly accomplishment, one way or the other. And therefore Arjuna, in the midst of battlefield, judged his action as a violent action, as killing so many my relatives, kith and kin, etc. And that is how he thought that outcome was no good. But Lord Krishna says that action not only creates an external result, it also creates an inner result. Action not only has an external element, which it has when you do something, cause and effect relationship is there. So action is a cause, it creates an effect in terms of the outcome. But the outcome is not only in terms of what we get in external worldly terms, outcome also is in terms of what we get in our inner terms, and that is determined by the attitude. So action creates an outcome, attitude creates also an outcome. Action creates an external outcome, and attitude creates an inner outcome. And we must know that ultimately the inner outcome, that is the most important, because as we said in earlier class, our perception of ourselves is most important. Our acceptance of ourselves is most important. The poor human being is trying all the time to be accepted by others. All the time the person is trying to be approved by others. And that is the struggle in our life of finding approval by others, acceptance by others. What is really required is approval by myself, acceptance by myself. And that happens when what I do creates in me an inner satisfaction. When is an inner satisfaction created? When I act in keeping with an existing order or existing harmony. A harmony or order exists in the universe. And whenever I am in alignment with that harmony or order, then there is an inner satisfaction. So it is that alignment that gives me inner satisfaction. It is action that may give an external result which is important. We are not saying that the external outcome is not important, it is important. But that alone is not the only dimension of the outcome that we get. There is also an inner outcome which is inner dimension, or inner outcome also which is another dimension of the action that we perform. And that Arjuna did not see, nor most people see that. Meaning that he evaluated the action or the challenge that he had in front of him based on what the external outcome will be. And that was not pleasant at all, naturally. It is understandable. And so he said, I won't fight this battle. I see no gain. Nacha shreyanu pashyami hatva svajanamahave. I don't see any shreyas, any well-being coming by killing all my relatives and friends, etc. So Lord Krishna had to teach him how there is an inner benefit also of performing the action. So Lord Krishna had to teach him two things. How he can perform action without being affected by the action, and how the action also has an inner reward, not only an external reward, but also an inner dimension. Two things Lord Krishna teaches. One is attitude towards karma phala, other is attitude towards karma. So karma phala means the phala or the result of karma. And usually we measure it in the terms of, the external gain or loss. Lord Krishna says that's not the only thing. There is an inner gain also. And that is the satisfaction that you get. And that comes when you have the right attitude. So in this line that we quoted, Swakarmana tam abhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha, a human being gains siddhi, success. Why? Performing action as a worship to Ishvara. That's a work as worship. It is true that usually we associate worship with some special actions of puja, etc., which is all right. But then we have to live our life, and whole day we cannot perform puja and do chanting and meditation. Does it mean that the worship is confined only when we are in the puja room, or when doing specific actions? Is it what worship is? So this is a revolution that Lord Krishna brought about. Just by the way, in the Vedas, we have the Vedic scholars called Mimamsakas. And for them, dharma was confined to the homa, yaga that you perform, that is prescribed by the Vedas. Lord Krishna said that the dharma need not be confined to the action of homa or yaga. What do you do when you perform the homa? There is an external setup there, and there is fire invoking devata, they make an offering. So offering is what you do. So take the spirit of offering. You need not do only that action of fire ritual, etc., to call it yajna. But important is not the ritual. Important is not the form. Important is the attitude. And that is called offering. In a homa or a sacrificial ritual also, the offering, the spirit of offering is most important. Devatodeshena dravya tyaga yaga, meaning that the offering of a material that you do, it may be curd, it may be ghee, it may be whatever, for pleasing the devatas, that is called yaga. So Lord Krishna said that yaga need not be confined to that action. You can do that in every action. Perform an action as an offering of the devatas. Therefore, your action of sweeping the floor and cleaning the vessels and washing the clothes and of course the professional things, any of that can become also the yaga, homa or worship. All that is required is the spirit of worship, and that is called offering. So, our Swami called it contribution in simple words. Lord Krishna points out in the Bhagavad Gita, look, hey Arjuna, how a cosmic yajna is going on, a cosmic sacrifice is going on, where every element is sacrificing itself for the harmony of the whole universe. How every element contributes to the functioning of the whole universe in its own capacity. The sun contributes its own capacity, the moon and the earth, even the little ant also contributes to the function of the universe in its own capacity. It is not the quantum of what you do that is important, it is the spirit with which you do is important. Therefore, an ant also can have same contribution as the big sun and moon can have. Because what is important is the spirit. This story you heard, all of you heard, that when Lord Rama, which is the army of monkeys and bears, was building that causeway in the ocean, and monkeys and bears were very powerful animals, and they would bring tree tops and then even big rocks and then dump there. And here is a little squirrel. He's watching. Now, not squirrel, but what should we call him? The chipmunk. In India, you call it squirrel. Here it's called chipmunk, right? The chipmunk watching this whole proceeding. Chipmunk also is a devotee of Lord Rama. How can I contribute? I can't carry these tree tops and I can't carry these rocks and this. What can I do? So it is the spirit that is important, and that also gave the idea to this chipmunk. What can I carry? I can carry a few grains of sand. That's all I can do. So carry some grains of sand, deposit there, come back here, take grains, deposit there, come back here. Somebody pointed out to Lord Rama, look at this devotee of yours. She's so busy, she's also offering something to you. So what is the offering? Just a few grains of sand, which may be nothing, may not be material. But then naturally Lord Rama recognized the spirit. So they say that is how he caressed this. And that's how the band on that chipmunk. Anyway, but the idea is that it is not the quantum of work that we do. Not that we should not do big things. I'm not suggesting that. Not that we should not act to the maximum of our capacity. We should. Whatever capacity is given to us, we may as well use it to the best. Because not only spirit of contribution is important, the actual contribution also is important. Swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manava. So Lord Krishna says in that verse that may you perform every action in the spirit of worship. The Swamiji, where is worship involved here? In the spirit of offering. What is the offering? You recognize how the offering is done to you from the rest of the universe, as you said in the earlier class. The sun and moon, all elements of the earth, universe are making their offering to us as though we are the center of the universe. The whole universe is designed to help us. The sun is illumining our path, and then wind also is sustaining our life, and water is sustaining life, earth is supporting us. Recognize this obligation that is done to you, help that is offered to you, and have a sense of gratitude. So when we recognize this whole the harmony that is there in the universe, the spirit of contribution that is there in the universe, then that we can bring that into our life, and that becomes spirit of worship. So spirit of worship, how do you worship Ishvara? Of course, we can worship in a puja room, no doubt about that. But how can you make this simple action? Like I'm talking right now, like you're listening right now, you're walking, talking, whatever you're doing. Is it possible that all those mundane actions can become the worship of Lord? That's what Lord Krishna says. Swakarmanatmabhyarcha. Remember Ishvara. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmara yudhyacha. Therefore, hey Arjuna, remember me all the time while performing your duty. But Swami, Bhagavan, if I remember you, how can I do my action? If I say Ram, 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 that distracts my mind. When I'm performing, I'm doing something, it is necessary that I should focus on what I'm doing. I can't remember you. I can't say Ram, Ram, Krishna, whatever name, then I can't pay attention. So, is there any other way of remembering Ishvara? Yes, there is. Recognize that whatever is being done, whatever I am able to do is because of grace of Ishvara. That action is being performed, and it is a great opportunity I have as a human being to perform an action, a deliberate action. Understand that nothing else in the universe performs a deliberate action. Understand? They all act as they are programmed, and so their life need not be called mechanical, but a programmed life. Human being has, on the other hand, the choice to perform a deliberate action. This is where we can have the right attitude or wrong attitude. Why are we told about right attitude? Because we are born with wrong attitude. We talked about ignorance in the morning or in the earlier class, that because of ignorance, I do not know what my true nature is, and I look upon myself as a lacking, wanting being, an insignificant creature, lacking, wanting, a needy person. This is how I look at myself. That is not the right perception of myself, but I am born with the wrong perception. Who did it? Bhagavan did it. I guess so. Bhagavan gave me the birth with a wrong perception about myself to look upon myself as a lacking, wanting, limited being. But I am lacking and wanting, Swamiji. I am wanting and lacking in everything. My memory is lacking. My understanding is lacking. My knowledge is lacking. My capacities are lacking. My strength is lacking. Everything is lacking. How do you say I am not a lacking being? Am I not? I am not all lacking and wanting being. Everything is limited. God has given us the powers, the power of Ichha Shakti, power to will, Kriya Shakti, power to act, Jnana Shakti, power to know. So power to know, power to will, power to act is all given. It's all limited. So I am a limited being, Swamiji. And therefore I have perception that you are limited all, but not lacking. This lacking and wanting thing is different. Being limited is a different thing. So my perception that I am lacking, that always makes me a beggar. When I am lacking or wanting, always makes me a beggar. And therefore, in every situation, I want to take advantage. Usually, any situation I want to convert. If I am smart enough, I convert the situation to fulfill my agenda. What can I get out of this? What is in it for me? This is called self-centered attitude. Oh, that's the attitude that we have. And then when I'm able to accomplish my goal of fulfilling my desire or my selfishness, I feel, I'm very smart, I'm successful. So whoever is able to fulfill their self-centered desire is a successful person. That may be the worldly way, but the spiritual way is that more you fulfill those selfish desires, more selfish you become. More lacking you feel, more wanting you feel. Therefore, this whole course that human being has adopted of fulfilling his self-centered desires, and I feel successful when the self-centered desire is fulfilled, that is a wrong perception of success. Yes, I do get some satisfaction when a desire is fulfilled, but then it goes away. Another desire has to come. Therefore, Just turn around, change this whole thing. Here you are doing everything wrong. You are starting with a wrong assumption. What's the wrong assumption? That I am a lacking being, I am wanting being, I am a needy being. That's a wrong perception of yourself. That's a wrong assumption. But I am feeling that way, Swamiji. I am feeling, look at my house, it's so small. Look at my car, look at my this, look at everything is so small, so limited. So I am limited. I don't know what somebody else says. I can't get everything that I want. I am limited and lacking. No, there is some limitedness, lack somewhere. The body is lacking, your mind is lacking, your intellect is lacking. No doubt about that. But you are superimposing that lack upon yourself and branding yourself as a lacking, wanting being. Vedanta says you are a complete being. I don't feel that way, Swamiji. I don't experience that. All that you want to experience, yes, then fake it till you make it. How do you fake? You fake that you are complete, that you have everything that you want. How can I fake it? And make it. Then act from that platform. When everything that I want, then my action will become an act of always giving something. I become very generous. When I have everything that I want, then I share. I have 5 chapatis, then I am able to share one. Take it. Meaning that when I feel I am sufficient, then I become generous. So, fake it. Pretend that you are sufficient. Not easy, but pretend. How would you act if you were sufficient? Swamiji, I'll become generous. Become generous. I don't feel, but make it. Fake it is not a very good word. I think it is a rhyming, faking and making. But pretend. Somebody says, Swami, this is not a good word. Fake it till faking is it involves cheating, isn't it? So pretend, but it doesn't rhyme. Fake it till you make it rhymes. Pretend and then make it, all right. If people had objections to the word fake, why do you use that word, Swamiji? Well, pretend that you are all right. Pretend that you are a wealthy person. You are as wealthy as you feel you are. And thus, become a contributor. Always have the spirit of offering, contributing. But what do I have, Swamiji? I am not a wealthy person. What can I contribute? They say there are 3 T's. You know 3 T's? 1 T is treasure. Other T is talent. Third T is time. Treasure, talent and time. One of the T's you will have, I'm sure. I don't have treasure. No problem. I have some talent? Yes, I have. Everybody has some talent. It's a matter of attitude of how I can make my talent available for benefit of, the society. Of some other person, let us say. If nothing is there, time is there. So that way we have a lot of things if you look at it. And so whatever you have the spirit of favoring, contributing, giving, offering, because that's how Ishvara is. How do you worship Ishvara by that spirit? But Ishvara is like that. Ishvara, Vedanta teaches that this world is manifestation of Ishvara. He is a maker as well as material. Not here like this part, where maker is one and material is different. In case of a universe of creation, Ishvara is maker as well as material. Meaning that he himself is manifested as a universe. In the universe, there is a spirit of all the time contribution. So Ishvara is contribution. That's called yajna. So we automatically worship Ishvara when we bring in our mind the spirit of offering, of contribution. Simple thing. It's tough, Swamiji. Why is it tough? Because, as I said in the morning, we are born with ignorance. Ignorance makes us self-centered. It's not our fault. Human being is a self-centered creature. And therefore, what is important is my interest, is self-interest is the most important thing to me. And when my self-interest is, sir, I feel I'm successful, not realizing that I'm pouring butter into fire. So you have to turn that around and not assume that I'm a needy person. Not that success is in fulfilling my self-centered desires. Success is in becoming free from the desire or fulfilling other people's desires. So this is the archana, or this is the spirit of worship of Ishvara. Because that's what Ishvara does. Ishvara manifests the universe, displays only the spirit of offering. Everything is in the offering. There is yajna going on, offering going on, helping is going on, contribution is going on. So what will that do? If in the beginning that requires to be deliberately done because my mind my mind is very insecure. The insecure ego doesn't allow me to do that. So in India, when you are driving, when you come to an intersection in your car, because red traffic light stops there, and 3-4 urchins appear from nowhere and tuk 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 tuk. And they are trained to act in such a manner that create pity in you, and then you want to give them something. So let me give him 10 rupees. Then reach out for my, wallet. I think 10 rupees is too much. 5 rupees is okay. I touch my wallet. 5 rupees is too much. 2 rupees will be all right. I pull out 1 rupee. Finally, because that self-centered, greedy entity that is called I does not allow me to be generous. So to be generous, I will have to somehow overcome that sense of greediness, sense of insecurity, sense of insecurity. What will happen to me if I give this? What will happen to me if I do this? Well, I'm not suggesting that you keep doing without thinking like this, but still, let there be something. Give him 1 rupee, if not 10 rupees. But let there be spirit of contribution. But Swami, do I have to go out in the world? What do I do? Should I go to soup kitchen? No. Wherever we are, there is always a possibility of contributing. In any setup. You find somebody is struggling with, trying to see, all right, take my chair. What's the big deal? That's a big deal. Every situation offers us an opportunity if we are in lookout of that. There's a line of people, for food, and you find somebody is struggling with a plate. All right, please sit down. Let me be. You are doing it. That's why these examples come to me. I see you doing that. I see all you people doing that. That's why the example comes to me. But that is the way. And just enjoy the opportunity of being helpful, opportunity of small contributions. It doesn't have a big thing. A small little thing also is okay. But that gives us a satisfaction. Why should that give us a satisfaction? So, fulfilling my self-centered desire also gives me satisfaction, and reaching out to somebody also gives me self-satisfaction. Are these two satisfactions the same? They are not the same. The satisfaction that comes by fulfilling my desire is a short-lived satisfaction. The satisfaction that comes by contributing to something is a sustained satisfaction. It creates also samskara. What we do also creates samskara, meaning tendencies to repeat that. So when by extending a little help to somebody, when I discover satisfaction, I want to do it again. That's how children, become big contributors. When they discover the joy of doing, aim for seva, volunteer, they got some money. They walked and got some money, and they did this and got something, and they contributed and feel very proud. Organizers are very smart people, of course, so they bring out these children and make them, and so show them up and make them feel proud. That is all right. But the pride that comes by doing something is a different kind of pride or satisfaction that comes by becoming better than somebody else. Usually, success means being better than somebody else. Is it not so? At least in United States here. In our case, you got first class when you got 60% marks. Distinction when you got 70% marks. That's not the case here. You can fail at 70%. If the whole class gets 85%, then you fail. It's all comparison. It all works on comparison. So you have to always compete. Now that is one dimension of life, that's all right. And so they try to fulfill that kind of a, need of a child and make them, he's a spelling champion. What is it? Spell bee. Spelling. That is all the national championship. In the class also, he gets a certificate. What? He spelled C-A-T, cat, wow. So they give him, he comes with pride at home. I passed my spelling test. But that is the kind of satisfaction we are accustomed to get. By fulfilling or satisfying our ego, which is only up to a certain point. We need it. This ego gratification is needed in our life to feel a self-worth and self-confidence is needed. But a point has to come when we have to overcome that. Because that is like the fire, and then it is no end at all. You keep on feeding on that, it is endless thing. Now reverse the process. Rather than satisfying this ego, satisfy somebody else's ego. Why should that give me satisfaction, Swamiji? When I help somebody, it gives you satisfaction. Why is it so? The reason is simple. Had I been in that place, what would I like the other person to do? Had I been in that place and I was not able to hold my plate, and what would I have wished? That somebody comes along and helps me. So when we do that, we are in fact doing what we would have liked to be done to us. That's why it gives satisfaction, that I have done something right. But that's what I would have expected. Had I been in that place, I would have expected that, and when it's done to me, there is a sense of satisfaction. So, that's a tall, high bar, but Lord Krishna says, Atma upamyena sarvatra samam pashyati arjuna sukham vayati va dukkham sayogi paramo matah. In verse from the 6th chapter of the Gita. Sa paramo yogi, Lord Krishna says that he is an exalted yogi. So we can become an exalted yogi living our day-to-day life by doing this simple thing. Atma upamena sarvatra samam pashyati arjuna. He places himself in the situation of others and asks a question, how would I have liked to be treated if I was in that situation? And I do. So, I treat other person as I treat myself. It's a very tall order, a high bar. But Lord Krishna teaches that he is a Parama Yogi, he is a great yogi or supreme yogi who treats others as he treats himself. But why does Lord Krishna teach us that? You know why? Because what I call other is none other than myself. Although I think that person is different and I am different and I am obliging somebody, but the reality is that, as we said in the earlier class, is one Ishvara who is alone taken all these various costumes and playing various roles and therefore what is in that other person is nothing but myself. So they were living life in keeping with their reality. All that Lord Krishna is teaching us is how to live life in keeping with the realities of life. That's what he's teaching. The reality is that you are the self of all. It is not my experience right now. Doesn't make sense to me right now, maybe. But that's a fact. And therefore, fake it till you make it. Try to act as though you are the self. Meaning that as though that person also is no different from you. You try to treat that person as you treat yourself. That becomes worship of Ishvara. Because Ishvara alone is self of all, and therefore, Swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. This kind of, and it has to be all small little acts. We don't have to do big things. Small things. But Swamiji, I am alone in my home and I am working all the time in my kitchen. What do I do for the world? I don't have an opportunity to contribute to anybody. But you have. Your family is there, you are cooking, and there are people who are going to benefit it from there. So we can look upon we can make every act as an act of service. It's a spirit that makes it an act of service. Otherwise it's also a drudgery. Oh, same dishes every day, same this thing, Swamiji. Same clothes washing, same dishes, same laundry, same cleaning every day. It is so. Or it's an opportunity, okay, I'm cleaning now for Ishvara. Where is Ishvara? In form of my family members. Whoever will use this house, who will walk on this floor, is Ishvara. Let me make sure that there is no dirt left there. That's how Shabari did. That is the great devotee of Lord Rama. Because her Guru had told her many years ago that Lord will come to you. Didn't say when. So she did not know when he will come. So he can come tomorrow. So I must be prepared. And there she will walk a mile and clean the path, remove all the pebbles and thorns and make the path clean. And her front yard, everything is cleaned up. And with the cow dung, is applied. Fresh water is brought, some fresh fruits are brought. Whatever she had, all ready. Lord may come. It's not that the day when Lord Rama came, that is the day when she brought those fruits. She must have done it for years together. So what did she do? Just cleaning the path and preparing her front yard or whatever it is, and then bringing some water and some berry fruits. There may not be many fruits in that forest, berry fruits. Swakarmana tavabhyarcha, how one's action becomes the archana or act of worship of the Lord. It's a matter of just spirit. So you can say that I'm cooking for Ishvara. No, it is my spouse. In that, I am willing to accept everybody else as Ishvara, not this fellow. No, the familiarity brings a lot of contempt, that's what they say, but is it possible for us to, turn around our mind and see the goodness which is everywhere? Too much familiarity may have perhaps exposed us to whatever, but still the goodness is always there. Nothing is ever devoid of goodness. Nothing is ever devoid of Ishvara. Therefore, whatever I do, in whatever station of life I am placed, whatever duties I am given, whatever act I have to perform, it can be an offering to Ishvara, in whichever form Ishvara is. You don't have to go out to community. Your family itself becomes a platform for you to serve. If you go out, it's even icing on the cake. Swakarmana tamabhyarcha. Thus, even ordinary, mundane work also can become worship when just the spirit is changed, that this is an opportunity to serve Ishvara. Where is Ishvara? Your children, your spouse, X, Y, Z, will benefit from this laundry, from this vacuuming, from this cleaning, from this cooking. I'm talking about women. Men also have similar things. No, Swamiji, I am working for my boss. Where is Ishvara here? It's difficult to see Ishvara in the spouse and also difficult in the boss, I guess, in two places. Little more difficult exercise. But Ishvara alone has taken variety. But Swamiji, why should he take this kind of roles? He's a very cantankerous person, and why does Ishvara come in my life in this way? Why is he testing me only? Why other people are so fortunate? I don't know. I guess everybody feels that way. in their own way. And it is difficult. To see Ishvara elsewhere is not easy at all. But then this is what is a reality. And to the extent that we can bring that in our life, to that extent we are in harmony with the reality. And that becomes a reality one day, because right now it is an attitude. If attitude is based on reality, it will become reality one day. Whole world will become manifestation of Ishvara. You are liberated while living. You are Jivan Mukta. That's all you need. All you need is right attitude. Then what is Ishvara? What I am doing is nothing but serving Ishvara, worshipping Ishvara. We want to generally divide Ishvara. This fellow is not Ishvara, that is not Ishvara, this is not Ishvara. But try as much as we can. So, perform work as well. That's the challenge. Because familiarity breeds contempt, that's what they say. And too much familiarity makes it more difficult. But it brings about internal change. This attitude brings about change in myself. My further way of looking upon things, then the raga-dveshas are always there. When I look upon them as different from me, those raga-dveshas have to go in order to maintain this attitude. And that's how the immediate benefit is that the attachments, aversions, my resentments, all of it have to go for me to try to bring in Ishvara in my life. But Ishvara and resentment, etc. cannot go together. So even though my mind comes up with attachment, aversion, etc., I have to subdue that. I must subdue my raga-dveshas to bring in the spirit of Ishvara in my life. And that's the way to slowly overcome raga-dveshas. That's the purification of mind. Closer you, from more purification there is, closer you are to yourself, closer you are to divinity, which is your own nature, and that can culminate into abiding in yourself. This process has this potential. This simple little change of attitude has this potential. It's difficult because we have to subdue the present attitude and substitute this one here. But it has swakarma, siddhim vindati manava. First you get siddhi, success in the form of purification of mind, then success in terms of purification. The freedom in life. But what about knowledge, Swami? That will come. They say that knowledge alone brings moksha, it will come, if it has to come. This is what we can do, and it will open all the other doors, whatever is necessary. So thus work work has to be made worship. Because work is so familiar and it is such, we already have attitudes toward what we are doing, and so all that has to change. All that has to be transformed. And this is a rewarding process. To the extent that we do, there is reward immediately. You get immediate self-satisfaction. You do one little good thing, act of kindness, immediate satisfaction. And therefore, keep performing acts of kindness, little act of kindness. Builds up your self-satisfaction. Self-worth, self-esteem. Because we feel so inferior, because if I am not earning, then I am nothing. If one spouse is earning, otherwise is not earning, and all kinds of complexes are there. That's all complexes born on the upadhi. More closer you are to yourself, become free from these complexes. Changes perception of ourselves, changes all, transforms everything. The whole life is transformed. So that is what the spirit of worship can do to us. We are the first beneficiary, and through us then of course the world will also benefit. So I will take a break here and invite you to come up with any questions you may have.
Swamiji, you were telling us that ego is all right for some time.